Okay, so this mod, we're going to show you how to actually build your own set from scratch, from a complete blank template, and also how to import your own songs and line them up to a click and all that kind of stuff actually in clip mode, right? Clip view. So right now, just to kind of show you how it works, we're going to press play on just any song. We'll do this teenage song. You'll hear the
intro, 2,
click track
3,
here,
4,
and the count in track here. Then you have your music here. And again, this is just how I have it set up. Other drums, percussion, or drums, other percussion, other bass, keyboards, horns, other guitar,
2, 3, 4.
Backup vocals, other lead vocals, other guitar, other. The reason I put other is because some songs have different instruments, and so I just know in the other columns I'll put those different instruments in the other columns if I don't have a place for them. So this is a MIDI click. I don't really use it, but I have it there because sometimes I do use it in my own set, and some people like to use an actual MIDI click in their set. And so I have that option there built into my own templates. I'm going to show you how to make that too. So if you're doing your own music and you have the BPM set, I'm going to show you how to make your own MIDI click as well. This is the count in. This is all done with MIDI and using the drum racks. These are samples.
Intro, outro, verse, chorus, pre-chorus, bridge, solo, vamp.
And then we just move the MIDI click or move the MIDI clip around where they need to come in at. So if you watch this play, you'll see the playhead move across and it'll count those off. So let me zoom this out so you can see it a little better. So you'll see the 4 count, and it'll say intro 2, 3, 4. Ready?
Intro 2, 3, 4.
All right. So now to build this from scratch. So let's go ahead and just start a brand new project. So I'm just going to say new session, and I'm going to not save that. So this is brand new. There's nothing on here. So what we're going to do is these are just effects. You don't really need those, so I'm going to get rid of them. Just get rid of that one. I'm going to get rid of that one. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a return bus. And the return bus is going to be for my clicks and my count in. So I just have one volume knob for them all. Instead of having to go turn up the click volume and the count in volume, I'm just going to bus those over to one return bus right here. This is a bus 2. This is just your main bus. This is going to outputs 1 and 2. So we're going to go over to create, and we're going to create a new return. So you can see that came in right here. Return. So this is the volume. Whatever I put the volume in here, it's going to send that volume to this bus. Okay. If I add another return, if I went create and insert another return, it would make another bus, and this bus volume would go to return B. We don't need that, we just need 1, so we're just going to do return A. All right, and then on these 2 MIDI, we're actually going to keep these 2 MIDI. You could just delete them if you wanted to, but we're going to keep them. So I'm going to keep them, and this one is going to be our click, so I'm going to rename that click. Okay, and this one's going to be our cue. I'm going to rename that cue. All right, and then let's set those up. So I'm going to go over here to effects. I'm going to go to instrument, and I'm going to go to impulse, and I'm going to drag that impulse and drop it on the click. That's what we're going to use for the click. Right now they're blank. We're going to go down here, and we're going to pull in our 2 cues. So you can hear these are my 2 cue samples. You can download these anywhere off the net. That's that one, and this is this one. All right, so you can grab those anywhere, and no matter where they're at, just grab them and drop one of them into the first one, and the second one into the next one. Right now, if I click on that, there's my MIDI click. So if I went over here and went insert a MIDI clip, That's going to be automatically, they'll give me a 4-count MIDI clip. So now if I just clicked on here, and then went up one more line up, because you can see where those 2 samples are at. There's one here, and there's one here, and go over the next. So this is basically 1, and these are in quarter notes. So I can change these to bars if I wanted to. So now it would just be full bars, which is fine with me. So if I click on the next one, whoops, I don't want a full bar. I'm sorry, I want quarter notes. So I'm going to change this to quarter notes. Let's go quarter notes. All right, so now just made this clip a quarter note. It don't matter how long it is, but if I click on there, there's 2, 3, 4. Now if I click on that, this is sets a loop, so I'm just going to leave it on a loop. So now if I click on that clip, and if I change my tempo, so there, we just created the MIDI click. Now we're going to go over to Q, and we click on our Q track. You can see there's nothing in there. What we want to do there is we want to put a drum rack in there. So we're going to grab this drum rack. I'm going to drop the drum rack down there. Oops. Go there. Drop it on there. So now we have an empty drum rack. So now we're going to go over here to. So I'm going to call up my Q samples, and I'm going to put I'm just going to put these in here. So I'll have verse. Actually, I don't want to put verse there. I want to put. I'm going to go intro down here, outro, and you don't got to put these in any order, but I'm just this order I'm putting them in just because I know it. Verse, chorus, and I'll put, I'm not going to put all these in, but I'll put a pre-chorus in there. And I'll put a bridge, breakdown, solo, tag, and then I'll put my 1, 2, 3, 4. You can add as many as you want. You can just keep adding more that you want to have cued in your ear, but this is good for right now to show you. So I have intro,
outro, verse, chorus, solo, breakdown, bridge, pre-chorus, tag, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So there's my count. So I put a MIDI clip in here for right now just to show you. Add a MIDI clip. If I go here, it tells me what all these are. I can grab this, pull it up, and I can see intro, outro, verse, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 blah. And there. So now we have our Q track all set up. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to take this from a master out, and I'm going to change that over to send only. I'll change this from master to send only. And then these volumes no longer really matter. So I'm just going to leave them at 0 anyhow. Because if I click on that, you're not going to hear it coming out the mains. Right now, it wants to be sent to here. What you got to do to get it to send to there is you got to turn these little volumes up here. That way you can mix it. You can see, okay, I want that much click, but I want this much Q, but I don't have a Q track in there right now, but I did. See, okay, now I can control my click and my Q. There's no Q in there by this one volume. And I can take this one volume and I can go to and put this on external out, and I can say, okay, I only want this to go. I only have 2 outs right now on the sound card. If I had a sound card that had more outs, then I can send a different out. But I'm just going to send this to 1. So now it's only going out channel 1, which would be my right side. All right, and that's how that's set up. And then what we do is we're going to lay our other tracks out. So I'm going to say I'm going to call this a click track. I'm going to rename this click. Click. And I'm going to rename this drums. Whoops. Actually, before I rename, I'm going to just duplicate this. I'm going to go click, drums, percussion, bass, guitar, keyboards, backup vocals, lead vocals. So now I have, so I'm just going to do that for right now. Click, I'm going to go name this one drums. And this one's percussion, bass, TR1, GTR2, that's for guitar 1, guitar 2. I'm going to rename this one keys, and rename this one keys. And you can lay these out however you want. Keys, and I'll rename this one backup vocals, and this one lead vocals. Alright, now I don't need this one open anymore. I can just close that. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to open stems from either my band or one I downloaded offline, and I'm going to say, okay, so this is Baby Hit One More Time. Just going to copy that name. We want to make sure that the beats per minute is here, which is BPM. So the tempo of the song, you want it to say whatever the tempo of the song is, and then BPM. Otherwise, the BPM up here will not change unless it says the tempo of the song. The tempo of the song, say 100, or 120, or this case would be 93 with BPM at the end of it. If that BPM is not there, it will not switch your BPM when you click on that clip. I'm just going to copy this whole thing, and I'm going to go up here to song 1. I'm going to paste that in there. And you can see right here, I have 93 BPM. So if I went like this to show you what I'm talking about, if I went, say, 100 BPM, so you can name it whatever you want, but as long as the last thing on that line, I can name this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 100 BPM. It wouldn't matter. Or I can name it Dan. I'll name that Dan 100 BPM. Okay. So you rename it as long as you have the BPM at the end. I'll call this one 45 BPM. But this one I'm going to put down here with no. I'm going to put it at 90, but not put the BPM on it. So if you were to say, like, you're naming this song, the song, and you wanted it, the tempo would be 90. If you didn't put that BPM on it, this is what would happen. So if I click on Dan 100, and you look up here, this is it. My BPM is set at 80. If I click on Dan 100, it changed that to 100 BPM. If I click on this 45 BPM, it changed it to 45 BPM. If I click on the song 90, it didn't do anything. Because now if I change that end of that name to BPM, and I click on it, now it changed it to 90 BPM. So that BPM is very important. You have to do that. All right, so now I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to call up my Baby Hit Me One More Time. And I'm going to take the bass. I'm going to put that in the bass line right along with that song. And I'm going to take the backup vocals. I'm going to put that in the backup vocals. Take the click, if you have a audio click. This line is for audio click. If you don't, you'd use this click, which I'll show you how to do that later in a second. So here's my click and my count in. I'm not going to put that one in because I have to build it from scratch. And drums, and put that over here in drums. I only have one guitar on this, so let's put that in guitar 1. Keyboards, I only have one keyboard, so I'm going to put that in keyboard 1. And lead vocals is down here, so I'm going to go over here and grab lead vocals. Put that in the lead vocals column, and then percussion. Now, stems all lined up. I'm going to mute this MIDI clip. So I just highlight it, hit 0, and deactivate that clip. They all line up, it'll sound like this. All right, but now when you first put them in there, you want to line them up on a grid. So some of your songs you might download, they won't line up on a grid. So what you would do is you would go, okay, I want it at 90 BPM, and also they might not have the 8 count in there. So we're going to pretend like that's what we're doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and grab the click track if you have one. If you don't, then you'll be using this click over here. But we're going to go over there and grab, and we're going to click on the first clip and keep holding it down, because if I let up and then hold it down again, I'm going to unhighlight everything. So I'm going to go back and highlight everything. So I'm going to click on that clip, go all the way over here, click on the last clip, and now I'm going to come back over to count in. Everything's off. I'm going to hold the mouse down and keep holding it there, and then I'm going to hit the tab key, and that's going to switch screens while I'm holding all those clips. So now I have all those clips in my hand. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this up. I'm going to scroll all the way at the top where that says click, or whatever you have there. Mine says click because the audio click, not the MIDI click. And I'm going to drop that there. And you can see right now all these line up on my grid because I've already done the song. And some audio clips aren't going to line up on the grid, which that's not a big deal. Let's say if you get something when you buy it off another place, and it might look something like, well, it only has 4 counts in, and maybe it has some extra space here, so like say, let's go like this. You don't got to do this step, I'm just doing this step to show you. Let's say it looks something like this when you lay it in there. It's all off the grid. It's a little bit long over here. What you would do is basically make sure your tempo's right, which is 93, so my tempo's right. Then you pull this down. You take that one of that first click, and you drag it over here and drop it right on the one line. This right here, if you take this and scroll it up over the top of this, you'll see a little like a microscope looking round thing, and you just hold your mouse down and pull down, and that makes it bigger, or push up and it makes it smaller. I'm going to pull down, right, it's about right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here now and right click, and I'm going to make this quarter notes. Alright, so I need this to have 8 counts, not just 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to highlight it, hit Command C for copy, or on a PC, I don't know what that would be, and I'm just going to paste it up here. So paste. So now I have 8 counts. So if we want to add a Q track, you just basically go back over here And easiest way to do it is just click inside a MIDI clip right here, right click, and just put insert MIDI clip. Click on that, hit tab key, flip back over and drop it right there. All right, so you have a blank MIDI clip, and what we're going to do is we're going to take that MIDI clip, we're going to leave it as a quarter note, as one bar, and we're going to say, okay, we want this to be our intro. So we're going to go over here and we're going to go intro, and then we're going to go oops, this on 2. No, this would be 3 because you can see there's 2, 3. This intro would be the 1 count. 3, 4. So now if we go like this, actually we want this over here. So we want this 4 count and then our cue track.
Intro, 2, 3.
Turn that up so you can hear it. Go back over here and turn that up. Set these up as loud as they can be for right now. Now if I go
Intro, 2, 3.
right, and then I'm gonna bring this up a little louder so you can hear it.
Intro, 2, 3.
And because now on the intro, she starts coming in singing, so I want to make that the verse. So I'm actually going to take this 2. I'm going to leave that first one on intro, and then the 2. I'm actually going to move that down to verse. So now I know it's intro, verse, 3, 4. So we
Intro, verse, 3.
that's not actually right because you don't start singing that. I'm just going to leave that to intro. Intro, 2, 3, 4.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
Now I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to just highlight it, hit Command C, and then I'm going to go down to where she does start singing. You can actually kind of cheat. I can see her verse starts right here. I can click on there, go up here, just hit Command V, which paste it, and then I'll move this up to verse. This first note up to verse, and now it's going to go.
Verse, 2, 3, 4. Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know that something wasn't right? Yeah. Oh, baby, baby, I shouldn't have let you go. And now you're out of sight. Yeah.
I'm going to put pre-chorus in right here, so I'll go back quarter note before it goes in. There, I'll click this, I'll move this, I hit Command V, which pastes it, and I'll move this from intro up to pre-chorus.
Now you're out of sight, yeah. Show me how you want it to be. Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now because
Now I'll put one here for chorus, so I'll hit click on that quarter note. I know the chorus starts there, so I'll click here, quarter note before. Quarter step before. Hit Command V, and I'll go down and move that to chorus. And now. So basically, just figure that if you go all the way down to the exact same thing, and at the very end, I'll put an end. So I'll hit Command V, and I'll go down and move this to. Oh, I didn't put end in here, but if I did, I have an end one that says end. I'll just put a tag 2, 3, 4. So I'll go. Tell me, and there you do is basically just click on this top clip, go down to your very bottom stem, and hold down Shift, and click on that. All right, that highlights everything there. But now you're going to need to go over because we added some notes. We added another, 3 clicks. So we're going to keep our keyboard holding down Shift, and we're going to click there. So it'll extend everything to highlight all this area. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, anywhere on the top of one of these clips, either this one or this one, doesn't matter, as long as it's on the top and not in the middle. You're just going to right click, and this little thing's going to pop up. You're going to go down here to consolidate. When you click consolidate, okay, so there you go. All my stems are at the exact same length, including the 8 count in. So if I click on the clip and I hit the play key.
Intro, 2, 3.
You see they're all the same length. So now we're going to move them back over to where we got them from. Just click on either the bottom clip or the top clip, and then go all the way back up the top, whatever, hold down Shift, and click on top clip. That way they're all highlighted. Then hold the mouse down on the cue. On the very top line up here, just hold your mouse down, and then hit the tab key. That'll copy that all over the next one. I'm going to drag it up here. I'm going to put the cue. Make sure the cue track goes into the cue track because that's what we grabbed on. I'm going to drop that there. Okay, and now all those tracks are back lined up. So because we grabbed the cue track here, just to rephrase that, we want to click on that, hit tab key, and you want to keep the clicker held down. Hit the tab key and then drop that back in the same track we grabbed from. And that way they all line back up in the same tracks. And if I hit play on that,
Intro, 2, 3.
you can see it all came in. So that's if the song lines up on the grid. So let's take a song sample that doesn't line up on the grid. So the tempo's about that tempo. It's not really the exact tempo. It's kind of around like this one right here. Any way you want it by Journey. It's around 138. That means the tempo's not going to exactly line up. So if we click on that, and we're going to copy that name, not paste it over here because it has the BPM in it. I'm going to click rename, Control V. It has the 138 BPM in there. So if I click on that, it's going to change this to 138 BPM. We're going to reload it back up. So I'm going to go bass. Oops, come on. In the bass. Backup vocals, and the backup vocals. Click if you got one. In the click. I'm counting, I'm going to make one so I don't need to add that. Drums, in the drums. If you get these tracks from us, you'll have a place to add the cue, and also these will automatically line up in the grid. You just line them up, put them in there, and they're fine. And grab the guitar. Put that guitar 1. Horns. I don't have a horn section on this one, so I'm just going to put this on keyboard 2. Keyboards. Lead vocals. And other. So I'm just going to drop this other, which I have no idea what it is, over here in percussion. Alright, so now if we play that, of course it'll all line up fine because I've already done this one, but we're going to make it so it's not like it. But if I click on it, alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, and I'm going to hit tab and delete what was over here. So I'll just hit delete. And you notice this is kind of doled out, and the reason is because this side's not activated. Because we switched back, where you've been using this side. So we switch over to this side. To activate this side, you got to go up here and click off this little orange tab. That'll activate this side. We don't need to do that yet though, so we're going to go over here. We're going to click on this song note to get the tempo right. Now the tempo's at 138, and because this song's not exactly 138, this is what we got to do. So I'm going to click on the first clip and go all the way over to the last clip. Hold down Shift, click on that, so all of them highlighted. Come back over to the first clip, hold it down, hit the tab key, and we want to make sure we drop this first clip on the click because that's what we grabbed over here was a click. We didn't grab the cue, there's no cue yet. So we want to make sure we drop it on the click track. So then we're going to go over here, it's doled out, we're going to hit this to activate this side. And you can see right now that the cue is not lined up on the click. We're not going to worry about it. But say if you get a track again that doesn't come with 8 counts in. It only comes with 4. This is what you would do. Is basically, you can't use the grid because the grid doesn't line up. So just turn this off. You're going to pull this down, and or if you get a track that has no count in, let me actually do that. I'm going to highlight these. I'm going to pull it back. So this track, say it has no count in, just starts right on the one of the songs. So it's just like, okay. So we need to add 8 counts, 4 for the drummer and 4 for the drummer to add off. So we're going to turn the grid off. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to basically scroll out so we can have a really pretty good picture of this. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to click here, and we are going to highlight this. And then on the Mac, what you'd do is you would just come back up here to the top of the clip, not in here, but on the top the color is. Or if you're using Ableton 10, it would just be the more solid place of it. And you would hold down the Option key after that's hit highlight. Just hold down the Option key and then grab your mouse and drag. And you can see how we're just making a copy of that. We're going to keep coming down. We're going to line this up to this intro 1. So we're going to line it right over the top. You can see how it's going over the top of that 1. In there and drop it. So that way now we have 8 counts. So we have 4 count into the drummer and 4 count for him to count off. So it's 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's how we get that. Now we're going to add a cue track. A cue track, you're going to have to do it by the click track and not by the grid like the last one. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to go into cue. We're going to right click in that blank area. We're going to click insert MIDI clip. And then we're going to hit tab key. I'm going to go back over here and drop it on the cue. We're going to set that back up again. So we're going to have this be intro. This be 1, or actually we want this to be 2. Intro 2, 3, 4. And then, because we got to line these up, so you want to basically do is we're going to move this over to the second 4 right here. And pull this down so we can see him closer. And you can see the clip. You just want to line this up by sight. There you go. And what I usually do is sometimes it floats, so you can see. I usually make sure that 4 is lined up. See how 4 is still off? That's one that's really going to mess the drummer up if it's not lined up right. So now if I go
intro 2, 3, 4,
or if the click's way off and you just can't get it together, then what I do with the cue track is I just take off these counts. So basically I'll just take it like this, and I'll just give him the cue on the first part. So it's like
intro,
and he can count that in his head.
intro.
And then I'll do is basically just copy this. So I just click on it, hit Command C, so I have it in my copying tab, and then
intro.
And so I know right here is going to be the chorus or the verse. So I'm just going to go over here and click here. And I'm going to hit Command V to paste it in there. And these are all muted out. So I'm just going to basically go down here, grab the first one, and put that up to chorus because it starts the chorus. Now be
Chorus.
maybe I'll put an intro here so they know the music's going to come in. So 4 counts before the music comes in. I'll just click there and hit Command V. Scroll down, make sure that lines up better. That. And now there's still another intro there so they know it's. So now we know the verse is going to start right here. And I'm going to right click, add a verse. If you want to have all the counts in there, you can. Just again, what I do is make sure that 4 is lined up. and not the 1. So I'll just go over here, line up that 4. That 4 lines up pretty close to there. So it should still sound all right. On that verse. So. Yeah, you get the idea. That's basically do is all the way down the line, just keep adding those. And then at the end, of course, you just throw one down there. And on the last 4 count, we'll call that end. But since I don't have end in here, we're just going to put tab. So. And so again, what we do is click on the very top clip. Make this smaller, which is just moving this thing up and down after you click on it. I click on the very top clip, highlight, and then we go down to the bottom one, hold down Shift, click on the bottom one, it highlights everything. And now we just got to go over the very new intro we just put in there, so it highlights that too. Keep your hold down Shift again, click on that. Now it highlight everything. And so we're going to go up here to the little top bar of any track, and right click and hit consolidate. And that's how you line it up if it doesn't line up on the grid, because you can see this click is nowhere near the grid, but everything lines up in the song together, so you're fine. So now we're going to hold down the top one, Q, and we're going to make sure everything's highlighted. If not, just click on the top clip, go down to the bottom clip, hold down Shift, highlight everything. Back up the top clip, which is Q, and just click on that and click and hold down on that. Hit the tab key on your keyboard, it'll switch back over, and now we're going to drop this back into Q. Not on click, but on Q, because that's the one we grabbed. Drop it, and now if I click on it, it'll have the 8 counts.
Intro.
Alright, so that is how you create or you add songs in to your own template or our template. Our template, everything will already set up for you, but if you had to make your own template from scratch, that's how you do it. Okay, so the last part is, say if you have a song that doesn't have a click and you want to add your own click, and you got it all lined up on the grid, which you did to line it up on the grid using the drum track. And this will really only work if your song is recorded with a click, and your grid is already lined up, because now you're working with MIDI. Otherwise, you got to go in there and add the click individually. And I'm not going to show you that. But say your songs are all lined up on the grid, unlike the Journey song, it doesn't line up on the grid. Like Baby Got Back, say it all lines up on the grid, and you want to either maybe change the tone of your click, or you just don't have a click and you need to add one. So we're going to hit 0 and mute out this audio click, and we're looking to use the MIDI click. And because we've already lined the Baby Got Back up, it's already got an 8 count in. Now you can do this one of 2 ways. So this click right here is a 4 count, but it's looped, so it'll just continuously going. The only thing is, when the song ends, it'll keep clicking. So that's kind of a weird thing, but it will work. So if I hit Baby, Hit Me One More Time, you'll hear the click. Oh, I'm sorry. I actually have the Q track muted out. Let me mute out the click track. There we go. So if I hit Baby One More Time, I have we're only going to be going off the MIDI click, which is basically just a looped MIDI 4 count. Ready? And I'm going to hit Baby Hit One More Time.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
So you can see how that loop just keeps going over and over again. But like I said, when the song stops, the click will keep going. So you can actually consolidate it to the same length of the song. And how you do that is you just hit the tab key, make sure everything off this side is gone. and hit tab key again because that lines up to the grid. We're going to change the grid by right clicking and change it to quarter notes. And hit tab key, and then we're going to go hit the click track here. And we're going to go all the way down to the lead vocal. So everything's highlighted. And then we're going to hold on to the click track, the MIDI click, not this click, but the MIDI click, which is way over here. We're going to hold our mouse down on that, hit the tab key. That's going to copy everything over. And now we're going to put that, you see that one little MIDI clip up there, we want to put that on the MIDI clip track. So the top click. And you can see right here, if I go back over here and activate this side, you can see here's our audio MIDI clip. Hit 0, reactivate it. You can see it's there. And what we're going to do is we're going to deactivate that because we only want the MIDI one. Now, because this clip, we moved it over, if I click on it, and look down here, you can see that loop is activated. We want to leave that activated for now. And we're going to drag that, because what it does just keeps adding a loop of that click. And then we are going to drag it to the same length as our other clips. Make sure it ends on a 4 count. It does, so there. And then, so we don't actually need the last little loop in there. So now, all we do is just basically all you really need to do is highlight that one, and highlight one other clip. That way, it makes sure they're all the same length. And then right-click on the color area or the top of the clip. If you're in 10, hit consolidate. Now it made that whole clip that length. So even if you look down here, it's no longer just a 4 count loop. It's a whole length of a song. And then all you really need is just highlight that one and hit tab and drop it in the MIDI click right there. Now you can see it's the whole length of the song. Now if I click on go, and it turned that loop off.
Intro 2, 3.
And you can see it's going to go the whole length of that song. So that's how you use a MIDI clip. MIDI clip. All right. I hope that gets your feet wet a little bit on just what the capabilities are. Ableton's a great software. You can do so much with it. And I hope these courses helped you out a lot. If you have any questions, make sure you hit us up on our website. And also, if you want to take the advanced course, let us know. We'll definitely hook you up with that. All right? We'll talk to you soon.